first time it's ever rained on our pit. Ever. In 30 years. That's the first time we ever had Maureen there. And she has left all of us. We know she's here. So this is in memory of Maureen.
There was a moment where we all realized, like, yeah, this is the first one without my mom, and that feels different. And while I think there's some sadness there and that we miss her, I think her energy and her warmth still exists in those moments and still carries on through all of us. And so I think it was a real celebration, as it should be, and I think that's what my mom would have wanted as well.
Harvest party was always at Mom and Dad's house, you know, the farm.
It got started, as the name implies. Mom and Uncle Pete had a big garden. You know, sweet corn and tomatoes and a bunch of vine vegetables and fruits. And quite literally, they just needed hands to shuck corn, boiling, I think, and canning tomatoes.
It happened on the first Saturday of August every single year. And the ball game was at 4 p.m. and then dinner at 6 p.m., which was all grilled food, corn, burgers, hot dogs.
It was a family reunion of sorts for us. It was a way for us to all just get together and celebrate the end of summer. The rule of thumb was once you're invited, you're always invited. So it was, you know, friends, family, and, you know, kind of grew from there.
Some years we had bands and several kegs and 100+ people, or Thanksgiving one year we had like 7 turkeys. And the first year Love only had 1, but it didn't feel small, you know, it felt full.
You know, we were always all a bunch of sports junkies, and so having the baseball game every year to kind of kick off the harvest party was a ton of fun. My Uncle Pete always did a really fun, you know, great job of getting the field prepped and putting all the work in there, and absolute mayhem with that many kids running around.
I remember catching fireflies with cousins. I remember late nights sitting by tiki torches. I remember my mom and my dad both, you know, setting an early tradition of kind of a consummate host and making everybody feel welcome and bouncing around the way, you know, a bride and groom do at their wedding.
She was competitive and results driven and wanted these things to be a success. And so, you know, she didn't slouch or just wing it, you know. There was a process.
The week prior, Mom was on a warpath to get the house ready. And we had a long yellow pad legal notebook list every day when we woke up of all the chores we needed to get done that day.
You would know it had grown because the pen color would change. And it would be like, no, Mom, like this is a new pen. This is like that got added. That's from a new day. I'm gonna go play. I want to go outside.
Walk in that kitchen, that was kind of command center, and right away, hey, can you find this person? Hey, here's this bag. Put it in that trash can. Hey, you know, the lemonade needs refilled, but with a smile and with some energy that made you feel like you're just hopping right in line as one of the hosts. And I think there was some genius in that loving delegation.
But it never felt overmanaged. And she still always had time to put down whatever she was working on, an apron around her neck, go and greet, you know, the newest young cousin that came through the door, or the, you know, grand niece or whatever that showed up.
Whether you were a college roommate coming home with one of our cousins who didn't have a spot to go for Thanksgiving, or, you know, a friend that had been invited once and it kept coming back to the summer party, she made everyone feel like they were the most important person in the room.
Everybody that was there was family. You know, that was the thing that you just can't create that. And it never felt synthetic. It was real.
She would relish that head count afterwards. You understood it was about like how many people she made happy, how many people she made feel welcome, how many people were given that blessing of being at that party. She felt really good to expand that number.
In one of her later years, when she was giving a toast at the beginning of the summer party, she was still fairly lucid, but we were starting to see some signs of her cognitive decline. Again, she's standing in front of 100+ people, and my daughter ran up to her And without breaking stride, she scooped up my daughter and held her in her arms and finished the prayer with her, and we had a picture of it.
One of my favorite memories, and it's a bit bittersweet. We knew my mom had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. The last harvest party at my parents' house, my mom put it together like nothing else was going on in the world. Like she didn't have this diagnosis, like she didn't have anything else that was wearing on her in any way. But I just remember the feeling I had when she was saying grace. She stood there and talked in front of everybody, you know, despite having an Alzheimer's diagnosis. And I'm sure a lot of conflicting thoughts and sadness in her head at that moment. She put all that aside and just talked about, you know, how welcome you are here, how blessed to have you here. And I think just it gave everybody the feeling of this is still home and this isn't going to change.
This was the first year it rained in 30 years. And I mean, my thing was like, that's just
a part of it.
Crying joy from Maureen. But she would have not wanted us to stop.
No, she wouldn't have canceled it.
Yeah.
Right.
The show must go on.
That's right.
As Maureen
Exactly.
would say.
This year was the first year a couple of my kids did the zip line, and they were so proud. And that was nervy but exciting. It wasn't buggy this year. Sometimes beach property can get buggy. It wasn't buggy, and the food was always good. But it was sad. First one without mom. But it was still great. You know, those two things can coexist.
For my mom, hard work was, you know, a labor of love. And I know that, and I saw that, and she was a great example of that, and she instilled that in us. And so I think I'd be doing really well to try and live up to the example she set in those areas.
I mean, it seems so simple to say like family first is such an all-encompassing lesson I think she has taught us, but it goes so much deeper than that. It's giving family second chances and always creating a safe space for family and a welcome open door for family. And I think that's something that was so ingrained that I don't even think she would have even ever said. It just was the way she lived her life.
All of why I do what I do is because of family, and a big part of my worldview around family came from mom. Yeah, so she taught me family is everything.
It's hard to put to words what she meant. Yeah, like I think she was many things to many people, and we all miss her daily. In my everyday life, I constantly am thinking, like, as a parent, as a husband, you know, what would my mom have done in this situation? Not that I'm, you know, overly dependent on it and can't make decisions for my own, but like, she was my hero. The way she went about life is the way I want to live my life. And I think that I can say that for all four of us. You know, I think we all just looked up to her with reverence that, you know, the life she built, of the family she built. And I think we're all trying to do that in our own way now. I am internally grateful for my family, for the love that we have for each other that has gotten us through those difficult times, and I think that's a testament to my mom. I think we rallied around her the way that she rallied around us for decades. I think that's the memory I'll take with me forever.
All I want is just to know you. It's just to hang around, walk on the same ground. You remind me of the days gone by, of a real good love turned up just in time. And if I show up, will you show me around town? Will you show me If I make you laugh, will you give me some time?